Welcome back to the Gold IRA Blueprint podcast. We're diving deep into a topic that's super relevant for American retirees like you, gold IRAs. We've got a whole stack of expert insights here. We're ready to unpack them and help you understand how these specialized IRAs, how they can play a role in securing your golden years. And listen up, because we're going to be sharing some real stories about folks who've actually used gold IRAs to boost their financial stability.
You know what's fascinating about gold IRAs? They offer a way to diversify your retirement portfolio with something tangible. Unlike stocks or bonds, you're actually holding physical gold, which has historically been a safe haven during times of economic uncertainty.
Yeah, that's intriguing,
Aha.
especially in today's world, which feels so unpredictable. So let's start with the elephant in the room. Retirement planning can be downright stressful. Market volatility, inflation, it's tough to enjoy those well-deserved relaxation years when you're worried about your nest egg shrinking. What are some of the anxieties you're hearing from retirees out there?
You hit the nail on the head. A lot of folks are concerned about the rising cost of living. Their savings just don't seem to stretch as far as they used to. And with all the economic uncertainty, they're worried about their investments losing value.
Exactly. It seems like everything keeps getting more expensive. So how does gold fit into this picture? We keep hearing about it as a hedge against inflation. But I'll admit, when I hear gold, my mind jumps to pirates and buried treasure, not retirement planning.
That's a common misconception. But gold has actually played a crucial role in economies for centuries, precisely because it's a store of value, unlike paper currency, which governments can print more of. Gold has a limited supply, and its value isn't directly tied to interest rates or corporate earnings.
No, so it's like a safety net when things get shaky. I remember learning in history class about the gold standard, where countries back their currencies with gold. Does that have anything to do with its value today?
Absolutely. That historical context is essential. The gold standard might be gone. But the perception of gold as a safe haven persists. During periods of high inflation, people tend to flock to gold because its purchasing power tends to remain relatively stable. It's like an insurance policy against the erosion of your savings.
That makes a lot of sense. But before we dive too deep into how gold works as an investment, if you're already intrigued by the idea of a gold IRA, you can grab a free checklist we've created to help you choose the right gold IRA company. Just head over to goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. That's goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. Now let's unpack this idea of gold as a tangible asset. What makes it different from, say, owning stocks?
Well, with stocks, you're essentially owning a piece of a company, a digital representation of your investment. But with gold, you have physical possession. You can hold it in your hand. It's a real, tangible asset. And that psychological comfort can be very appealing, especially for retirees who've worked hard to build their nest egg.
I can definitely see that. There's something reassuring about knowing you have something concrete, backing up a portion of your savings. It's not just numbers on a screen. But how do you actually hold on to this gold? Do you need a special vault in your basement?
That's where the IRA part of a gold IRA comes in. When you set up a gold IRA, you don't actually store the gold yourself. It's held in a secure IRS-approved depository. These are specialized facilities designed for the safekeeping of precious metals.
So it's kind of like a super safe deposit box, but for gold.
Exactly. And that's a crucial part of the process. The IRS has strict rules about how and where gold in a gold IRA must be stored to maintain its tax advantage status.
Speaking of taxes, that's a topic we need to delve into a bit more. What are the tax advantages of a gold IRA, and how do they compare to a traditional IRA?
The tax benefits of a gold IRA are very similar to those of a traditional IRA. Your investments grow tax-deferred, meaning you don't pay taxes on any gains until you withdraw the funds in retirement. This can be a significant advantage, especially if you're in a high tax bracket during your working years.
So it's like giving your money a chance to grow tax-free until you need it in retirement. That sounds pretty appealing. But let's be real, Fed. There are always skeptics out there. What are some of the arguments against gold IRAs? And how would you address them?
One common criticism is that gold is a volatile asset. Its price can fluctuate, and some people see that as risky. However, it's important to remember that gold's long-term trend has historically been upward, especially during periods of economic uncertainty.
So while there might be short-term fluctuations, the long-term potential is what matters, especially for retirees planning for decades of retirement. Anything else that makes folks hesitant?
Another misconception is that gold IRAs are only for the wealthy, but that's not true. While there are some fees involved, like setup and storage costs, the long-term benefits of owning gold can often outweigh these expenses.
I'm guessing those fees vary depending on the provider. and the amount of gold you're storing, right?
Exactly. That's why it's so important to do your research and compare different gold IRA companies. You want to find a reputable provider with transparent fees and excellent customer service.
This is all starting to make a lot of sense, but I'm sure some listeners are wondering, how do I even know if a gold IRA is right for me?
Yeah,
It's a big decision. What are some factors people should consider when making that choice?
that's a great question. And it's where things get really interesting. We need to consider your individual circumstances, your risk tolerance, and your overall retirement goals.
Perfect. Let's dive into that. After a quick break, we'll be back in a moment to explore the ins and outs of deciding if a gold IRA is the right fit for you.
So as we were saying, deciding if a gold IRA is right for you, it's a personal decision. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. It really depends on your individual circumstances, risk tolerance, and your overall retirement goals.
Okay, that makes sense. But how can someone figure out where they stand on those factors? It can feel overwhelming to know where to even begin.
You're right. It can feel like a lot to process. That's why it's important to ask yourself some key questions. First, think about your current portfolio. How is it diversified? Do you have a good balance of stocks, bonds, and other assets?
So if someone's heavily invested in the stock market, a gold IRA could potentially add more balance and stability, right?
Precisely. Gold often moves in the opposite direction of stocks. When the stock market dips, gold tends to hold its value or even increase. This inverse correlation can act as a buffer, smoothing out the ups and downs of your overall portfolio.
That's super helpful. It's like having a safety net during those inevitable market swings. So diversification is a key piece of the puzzle. What else should people think about when considering a gold IRA?
Risk tolerance is another crucial factor. How comfortable are you with the idea of your investments fluctuating in value? Gold, like any investment, can go up and down in price, but its historical track record shows resilience, especially during times of economic uncertainty.
But doesn't that mean it's still a gamble? How can someone assess their own risk tolerance when it comes to something like gold?
That's where seeking advice from a qualified financial advisor can be invaluable. They can help you understand your investment style, your financial goals, and how a gold IRA might fit into your overall retirement plan.
So it's not a DIY project. You need expert guidance to navigate those complexities. Okay, so we've talked about diversification and risk tolerance. What about those overall retirement goals, how they come into play?
Think about what you envision for your retirement. What lifestyle do you want to maintain? What are your expenses going to be? How long do you expect your retirement savings to last?
It's about having a clear vision of the future and making sure your investments align with those goals. What if someone's worried about outliving their savings? How could a gold IRA potentially help with that?
Gold's ability to hedge against inflation is a crucial factor here. As the cost of goods and services rises, the purchasing power of your savings can erode. But gold has historically held its value over time, acting as a potential safeguard against inflation.
So it's like a way to protect your savings from losing their value as the years go by. That makes a lot of sense, especially considering how quickly prices seem to be rising these days. But what about those who are just starting to think about retirement? Is a gold IRA something they should consider as well?
It's never too early to start planning for retirement. The earlier you begin, the more time your investments have to grow. And a gold IRA can be a valuable part of a long-term retirement strategy, even for younger investors.
So it's not just for folks who are already retired. It's a potential tool for anyone looking to build a secure and diversified retirement portfolio. But I imagine there's a lot to learn about setting up and managing a gold IRA. Where can people go to get more information and guidance?
That's where resources like Gold IRA Blueprint come in. It provides valuable information guides and comparisons to help you make informed decisions about your retirement savings.
And speaking of resources, don't forget about our free checklist. It's specifically designed to help you choose the right gold IRA company for your needs. You can find it at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. Okay, so let's say someone's decided that a gold IRA might be a good fit for them. What are the next steps? What does the process of setting one up actually look like?
It's actually a fairly straightforward process, but there are a few key things to keep in mind. First, you'll need to choose a reputable gold IRA custodian. This is a company that will hold your gold in a secure depository and manage your account.
So it's like a specialized bank for precious metals. What are some things people should look for when choosing a custodian?
A reputation is paramount. You want to select a company with a proven track record, strong financial standing, and positive reviews from trusted sources.
It's about trusting your savings with a company that's reliable and transparent, right?
Exactly. Next, you'll need to fund your account. You can do this by transferring funds from an existing retirement account, like a 401k or traditional IRA, or by making a direct contribution.
So it's flexible. You can work with what you already have or start fresh. But what about the actual gold? How do you choose what to buy?
Once your account is funded, you'll work with a precious metals dealer to select the specific gold products you want to purchase. It's important to make sure that the gold you choose meets IRS requirements for purity and fineness.
So not all gold is created equal when it comes to gold IRAs.
That's right. The IRS has specific guidelines about the types of gold that are eligible for inclusion in a gold IRA. It's crucial to work with a reputable dealer who understands these regulations and can guide you through the selection process.
That makes a lot of sense. You want to make sure you're investing in something that's legitimate and meets all the requirements. This is all fascinating, but I have a feeling there's a lot more to uncover when it comes to the specifics of choosing a gold IRA custodian and selecting the right gold products.
You're absolutely right. There's a wealth of information to explore, and we're just scratching the surface here.
We'll delve into those details after a short break. Stay with us as we continue our deep dive into the world of gold IRAs. All right, we're back and ready to dig even deeper into the practicalities of gold IRAs. Before the break, we were talking about choosing a custodian and selecting gold. What are some of the pitfalls to avoid in that process?
That's a smart question to ask with any investment, especially those involving precious metals. There are always bad actors out there trying to take advantage of people, so doing your due diligence is absolutely crucial.
So it's not as simple as just picking a random company off the internet.
Definitely not. Thorough research is key. Look beyond flashy websites and marketing promises. Check out reviews from reputable sources, like consumer protection agencies and financial publications. See what other investors are saying about their experiences.
It's like checking the online reviews before you go to a new restaurant.
Right.
You want to make sure they have a good reputation. So reviews are important. What else should people watch out for?
Fees are another major factor. Compare the costs of different custodians, including setup fees, storage fees, and any ongoing administrative expenses. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Make sure you understand all the costs involved before committing.
Transparency is key.
Yeah.
You don't want any hidden surprises down the road. Speaking of transparency, what about the gold itself? How can people be sure they're getting the real deal and not some counterfeit?
That's where working with a reputable precious metals dealer comes in. Look for dealers who are accredited by reputable organizations, like the Professional Numismatists Guild or the American Numismatic Association. These organizations have strict standards for ethical conduct and product authenticity.
So it's like a seal of approval, a way to know you're dealing with someone trustworthy.
Precisely. And
Yeah.
never be pressured into making a hasty decision. Take your time, do your research, and ask as many questions as you need to feel comfortable. A reputable dealer will be patient and willing to guide you through the process.
It's about feeling confident in your choices, not being pushed into something you're not sure about. So we've talked about doing your research, comparing fees, checking credentials, anything else that raises a red flag.
Beware of high-pressure sales tactics or promises that sound too good to be true if someone is guaranteeing unrealistic returns or pushing you to invest more than you're comfortable with. It's a sign to walk away.
If it sounds like a scam, it probably is. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. We've covered a lot of ground, but I know some folks might still be thinking, this all sounds great, but isn't gold just a shiny rock? How does it actually make money?
That's a fair question. It all comes back to gold's historical role as a store of value and a hedge against inflation. As we've discussed, gold has a limited supply, and its value isn't tied to the whims of governments or corporations.
So when those factors cause things like currencies to lose value, gold tends to hold steady or even increase in value.
Exactly, and because its price often moves independently of other assets like stocks and bonds, gold can help diversify your portfolio and potentially reduce your overall risk.
So it's not about getting rich quick, it's about playing the long game and protecting your savings. What are some examples of how this is played out in real life? Have you seen gold IRAs make a difference for retirees?
Absolutely. We have those stories in our research about John and Mary and Lisa. They saw real benefits from diversifying with gold. But beyond those individual stories, history is full of examples of gold holding its value during times of economic turmoil, from the Great Depression to more recent recessions.
So it's not just a theory, it's a pattern that's been proven time and time again. This has been an incredible deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much about gold IRAs, from the historical context to the practical steps involved in setting one up.
It's been a fascinating exploration, and I hope our listeners feel more equipped to navigate the world of gold IRAs and make informed decisions about their retirement savings.
If anyone's feeling a bit overwhelmed by all this information, I want to remind you about our free checklist. It's a step-by-step guide to help you choose the right gold IRA company and make the process a lot less daunting. You can find it at goldirablueprint.com/exclusive. That's goldirablueprint.com/exclusive.
It's a fantastic resource to have on hand as you start exploring the possibilities of a gold IRA.
Well, I think we've successfully mined a wealth of knowledge about gold IRAs today. I know I feel much more confident in understanding this unique investment strategy.
It's been a pleasure diving into this topic with you, and remember, knowledge is power when it comes to planning for a secure and enjoyable retirement.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive into the world of retirement planning. We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration.